I think that people don't realize the extent to which super rich people live on islands, or they're like really living in these super rich bubbles where they're surrounded by people doing everything for them, telling them how wonderful they are, sort of sucking up to them and doing all the things for them. But I think that and by the way, over the last couple of decades, we've really seen like a huge, concentration of wealth at the tippy top of the economic ladder. So it's harder for ordinary people to afford a house and, afford a dignified life for their families, to make it work on one salary when the kids are little, things like that, that used to not be so difficult in an earlier era. And people are sort of nostalgic for that. But the reason we have it is not because of the woke and some trans person over here. It's because the very rich people at the top are sucking up all the wealth and impoverishing those, I would say, in the you know, the top, like the bottom 90% of the economic ladder. There's a sort of top 10% that's doing okay, and bottom 90%, things are getting a lot harder for them. But oh wait, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so we're talking about them. So they've invested in this infrastructure of this movement. And, I want to talk a little bit about that organizational infrastructure because you can divide the organizations into categories. There are right-wing policy groups. I'll just throw out a few names. This is by no means comprehensive, but like, Heritage Foundation, Family Research Council, a focus on the family. We have legal advocacy, a huge legal advocacy sphere, like the Alliance Defending Freedom, the Federalist Society, Pacific Justice Institute, Liberty Council, and so many others. We have really sophisticated data initiatives that can be used to help turn out the rank and file and target people who might be favorable to voting for this agenda, and then to get them to actually, persuade them and turn them out to vote. We've got networking organizations like the Council for National Policy that get different sectors of the leadership on the same page, because again, this is leadership-driven movement. You got to get the leaders talking to one another. You've got pastoral networks. I think an underappreciated feature of the movement is these pastor networks like Watchmen on the Wall and Faith Wins, and some other networks that target specific communities like Hispanic pastor networks, things like that.